Hello. You know, when we're talking about critical thinking, it's all about looking at what's right in front of you, staring you in the face, and saying, okay, what's behind that? What's the agenda here? And whose agenda is it? Well, on Sunday on Quiet Riot podcast, Naomi Smith drew to our attention the fact that the BBC has put an awful lot of resources into investigating and then running as the banner headline a story about Israeli destruction of 40,000 homes in South Lebanon. No. About 70,000 people being killed in Gaza. No. About Peter Mandelson. No, not even that. The Prime Minister having his job on the line. No. It's about asylum seekers. Pretending to be gay so that they can get their asylum applications approved because it's unsafe for them to return to their countries of origin because of repressive legislation about gay people. And the BBC put together a team and a reporter undercover pretending to be a Bangladeshi asylum seeker, and she went to charities, to support groups, and was advised by lawyers to say that she was a lesbian because that would be a good way to get her asylum application approved. And so there she was, being schooled to gay the system, and defraud it in a way by claiming to be a lesbian. Presumably it wouldn't have been as easy if she'd claimed that should she be returned to her country of origin, she would be coerced into a forced marriage, which is equally undesirable, but not so easy to prove and not so straightforward. And that was the BBC story. The system's being gamed by crooked lawyers telling asylum seekers to lie about their sexual orientation in order to stay in Britain. And that's clearly a pertinent story, particularly as there's so much attention on asylum seekers and on the far right, so much hostility both towards asylum seekers and towards gay people. The whole question of sexual orientation feeds into the homophobia of the far right just as much as it feeds into their Islamophobia and their phobia about asylum seekers and refugees and migrants. So what does that do? What good is that to the BBC to post those headlines ahead of what's happened in the war in Gaza or South Lebanon or Iran, or what's happening with Keir Starmer and Peter Mandelson and Jeffrey Epstein, or anything else? Well, the answer to all that is it gets the BBC website more clicks, because the far right are big clickers and they like to click on stuff that gets them triggered and energized. And so a BBC editorial policy that's aimed at getting the most clicks is likely to be the BBC editorial policy that keeps its team out of the clutches of 2,000 jobs being lost. So there we are. Let's feed the far right, because they're the ones that are active, and in the meantime we've got a rather convenient dead cat to keep Gaza and South Lebanon, 70,000 deaths and 40,000 homes destroyed, out of everybody's attention. See, 2 birds with 1 stone. The BBC can be trusted to spend the licence payers' money wisely, effectively and productively. Good old Auntie Beeb. Bye.